This week on As the Prop Turns. Deep in the Louisiana backwaters, where the roads eventually disappear, where airboats replace cars, where the music is loud, the food is unforgettable, and the only thing bigger than the personalities is the hospitality. There's a team that has stormed into offshore racing and made themselves impossible to ignore. Dustin Clouatre didn't grow up chasing offshore championships. By day, he built a successful career with Hughes Insurance Services. He also built Blind River Bar into one of Louisiana's most unique destinations, a Cajun hotspot where the only way to get there is by boat. And if you've ever spent time there, you know exactly what it means to be welcomed like family. Somewhere between life on the water, running businesses, and building a life in Louisiana, racing found him. And when it did, he didn't do a tiptoe. He jumped in head first. Last season, Coualtre Cartel entered offshore racing in bracket 700 and quickly made noise. But they didn't just become known for what happened on race day. They became known for everything that happened after the boats came off the water. Seafood boils, crawfish for everyone, open coolers, music playing, and enough Southern hospitality to make complete strangers feel like lifelong family members by Sunday afternoon. And let's be honest, half the pits may have come for racing. The other half may have been hoping Clouatre Cartel was cooking that weekend. But behind all the hospitality was a team becoming more serious by the day. And in 2026, everything changed. Dustin made the leap into one of offshore racing's most competitive divisions, Modified V. And for that move, he partnered with one of the youngest and most talented racers in offshore racing today, 17-year-old throttleman Owen Buis. While most teenagers are worried about homework, prom dates, and learning how to parallel park, Owen has already built a resume most veteran racers dream about. At just 14 years old, he entered his first offshore race in a 22-foot V-bottom called Bad Decisions. And since then, world champion, national champion, and a member of the American Powerboat Association Hall of Champions. A rare racer capable of competing in multiple classes during the same race weekend. And now, stepping into Superstock, while still helping lead one of Mod V's most exciting teams. But Owen's story started long before his first race. He's the son of Nick Buis, a Pro Class 1 racer, owner of Statement Marine, and someone who helped shape Owen's entire life around racing. Boats were a hobby in the Buis family. They were the family business, and eventually, those two families became connected. Dustin purchased his current race boat from the Buis family, a 30-foot Lily sport boat, Mod V, built in 2020, formerly known as X Insurance. Now renamed as Louisiana and proudly wrapped in partnership with Explore Louisiana. Then came April 12th, 2026, the New Orleans Powerboat Grand Prix, their hometown race, their hometown fans, their biggest moment yet. And when the checkered flag flew, Dustin Clouatre and Owen Buis delivered a hometown victory that Louisiana won't forget anytime soon. From airboats in the swamp to a 100-mile ride offshore race boats, from crawfish boils to championship dreams, this is Coualtre Cartel. And this, well, this is As the Prop Turns. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us again at As the Prop Turns. Today, my guest, Dustin Clouatre. the team from Louisiana everybody's been talking about since New Orleans. I know I talked to him a little bit in St. Pete. Owen was supposed to be with us today. We didn't have a picture of him to hold up next to us, but maybe we should have. Young guy, he's on the go. He couldn't be with us, but man, Dustin, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Christian. Appreciate you, brother.
Man, I appreciate you. Let's get right into it, man. How'd this all happen? I mean, a year ago, you're watching races, thinking about it. Uh, Wow, man. Look at you now. Louisiana proud.
Yeah, man. I think we're a product of the worst phrase in a man's vocabulary is hell, we can do that, you know. So as I told you, we watched New Orleans races last year. P1 came to town for the first time back and since the Copeland days. And they ran on Lake Pontchartrain. We literally watched, I found the picture the other day, I'll send it to you later. I watched that from my wife's party bars in turn one. Uh, got home that evening, did a little research, watched the races again on Sunday. Me and Darby Malonzo, who throttled with me last year, me and Darby got to travel and see the country, and that was amazing together. And found a Class 7 boat who just ironically bought it from Nick and Owen Buis at the time. Found them on Facebook and became good friends with them, and now I'm in the boat with the Buises. So, but a
What a
great.
great team of guys to be involved with. They've got a great pedigree with everything they do. His dad, Nick, I know, is just a super individual. Owen coming right up. I know it's early to get into it, but I believe he's got a world championship, a national championship, APB Hall of Champions. That kid's 17.
All that while still banging out the 11th grade, so doing pretty well.
He's
It's
still in
funny.
11th grade. Amazing.
I'll call him sometimes during the day, man, and he won't respond to me, and he'll call me later that evening, and I forget he's in high. I'm like, "What you been doing all day?" He's like, "Well, I was in school," and I forget. So
Man.
he's quite the man.
So
He's awesome.
well, you guys look like you make a real good team, man. Like, looks like you gel real good in the boat. St. Pete, you had a rough first start, but you figured it out. There's no quitting in your team. I see that. Then you come to New Orleans, the home race, where let's just say it all starts there for you, really, with the dream you're chasing right now. I mean, you guys are truly looking, national championship, world championship. Sky's the limit right now for this team.
Yeah. That I mean, first it starts with that boat. I mean, that boat that Britt Lilly built is it's an honor to be able to have his boat. The Hurricane of Awesomeness, which we're down here in Hurricane Alley, which is just we've nicknamed it the Miss Louisiana or the Cajun Rocket. We go between the two, and uh, watching Nick and them race that boat last year and the year before, having great success with it. The only bad thing about having a great boat is if anything goes wrong, it's on us because we know the boat can do it. Um,
Right.
so no, she was running great. Statement Marine, Nick and them do a great job of taking care of that boat and keeping it up, and they had her ready for New Orleans. And New Orleans was it was an ideal race for us. I mean, besides we had 200 friends and family there. The hometown race, the boat ran great. Everything came together at the right moment. We needed that race, and we learned a lot from it. So we're excited to move on to Coco.
Well, I want to say all the stars lined up for you. Full circle from a year previous of where you were at. To me, in my eyes, it was what you dreamed about and what you put together and the hard work. And, you mentioned Darby. I got to meet him in Key West last year. Great people you run with, man. These guys, they're the accents, the stories they tell. I can't wait to get down to Blind River Bar, which I guess the only way there's by boat.
That's it.
So I'm all in, but just
Yeah.
this is a full circle moment for you in front of the hometown at the inaugural IHRA event. I mean, again, who wouldn't want to be winning the first event for every IHRA event this year, right?
No, man, they did a great job. They did a great job. Jefferson Parish that put that on, that helped put them on to a great job. I mean, we're sponsored by no other than the state of Louisiana. We
Incredible.
got out that boat, the first thing I heard was JJ Turk said, "This is a good day for the sport, it's a good day for the state." And, and I think that's about as that's about the most accurate statement I've heard. We had probably 200 people there in our pits. Let's call it 150 of them had never been to a boat race, and now everybody wants to know when's the next race, where's it at. So we got fans. We're doing it. They're doing exactly what we need to do. We brought attention to the sport, and everybody's looking forward to the next one.
I think that's exciting. I think it's exciting. The streaming, the platform, all of it. So, what's one thing fans don't see? What does it take behind the scenes? I mean, the fans come and it's great, but tell us one thing they don't get to see.
Man, I think I was watching. I've been watched every race that's ever been filmed on YouTube. I've been in full information gather mode. My little son, and we call him the little crew chief. Rowdy is my son, who to watch him do this is a blast. This morning we rode in the party barge this morning before leaving Blind River, and that was at 7 this morning. He's standing on side of me. He wants to work the throttle while I drive. And that's his
Yeah.
thing. And so it's going. What people don't see behind the scenes is the logistics. It's one in the shop. I've made that bit full circle to tell you that I was watching a YouTube video the other day and somebody talked about all this is one in the shop. You go out and race on the track or the course, but it's one at home in the shop. And I don't
That's
think
it.
that couldn't be more true after the St. Pete deal. And sorry, we got a little fly in here, mosquitoes here in South Louisiana. um, but we had a little electrical gremlin that, be honest with you, was something that kind of came up on tech, and two wires got crossed backwards. Very simple deal, but you seen what it cost us. But hey, we learned from that race. We only did half a
Right.
lap, but we took something away from it, so it's not a lost race. But the thing behind that, I don't think the logistics is one of I mean, we're getting a boat there, we're
Right.
getting a trailer, we're getting a rig there, we're flying people in. We're all going to foreign territory. We've got to figure out how to make this work. You kind of even being in New Orleans is 45 miles from my house. So all those guys look at me when something would happen. Hey, where can I get this? And really, I mean, I'm not as far away from home as you are, but this isn't
Right.
my home right here, you
Right.
know?
I get it.
So so I think that's the biggest thing is just the logistics behind it, getting everybody in town, getting them out of town and all that. And that's kind of been something, a learning curve for me.
Right. I'd agree. And I think that's a great answer because people don't understand what it does take.
It's a moving
And
circus. It's a mo
right. Well, you guys got a Mod V team, and I think what's great, people don't understand at home. This guy, you're bringing the fun. You're bringing Louisiana to the pits, man. You had a crawfish boil that Friday night, St. Pete, like, yeah, gumbo. I think that's right. I think that's what it was Saturday. I mean, you guys are bringing the excitement, all the different teams, and that's what's bringing the people out. It's the teams, the guys, the families. And you said about your boy Rowdy. I mean, dude, living that dream one day with your son on the boat, that's what's next. I mean, I dream about it. When my son's done with the military, we'll figure it out one day. But these are things that this is what it's all about. This is it right here.
Yeah. No, it's been great. And look, one thing about our pits is you came by, you were a product. That's when me and you met. I was getting ready to ball some crawfishes.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of bring people together in South Louisiana. We cook one meal talking about what's going to be the next meal. And that's kind of my thing. You can have, look, all these teams can have differences, all the differences in the world, but when you step into Clouatre Cartel pits, you leave that outside. We'll all hang out, we'll all be friendly. So
Wow, that's what I loved about being around you guys. With that being said, who talks the most trash in the boat?
in our boat or
Yeah, in your boat. Yeah, I
well,
mean, he's not here to defend himself, so
yeah.
it's his fault.
You know, I I'm not sure either one of us really talk trash. We listen. I let my wife listen to our helmet from last year. We raced one race last year, and she asked, "What did we talk about in the boat?" And I let her listen to it. and it's a 22-minute conversation of me and Owen debating where Forrest Gump was from. Uh, so she said, "Is this really what y'all are talking about during a race?" And I said, "We all,
Uh,
once you got everything dialed in, it is what it is. Try to get as comfortable as you can be." So,
right.
there's some friendly banter going on, and we might say a thing or two about a competitor, but at the end of the day, it all is.
Well,
So we
right.
made the whole thing is, hey, let's finish these laps and get back to the dock safely, and we wish the best for everybody else too.
Right. And I agree with that 100%. So, with that being said, if money wasn't a factor, what's the dream boat for the Clouatre Cartel?
You know, um, that's a solid question. Of course, the pro class one boats. I had no experience in a cat boat. And look, if I wanted one, I could go buy one tomorrow. I, I don't have much experience in this LSB. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't have much experience. I don't have tons of seat time in it, but this
Right.
thing, little riot. I couldn't imagine. It's about the most fun you can have in a boat with your clothes on.
Oh,
So
I agree with that.
it's an absolute blast. Never are you in it.
Oh,
You're like, man, this is where it wants to be. You're driving that thing the whole time. So
oh, I know. It's a handful over there in your seat in that boat. I know for a fact. So
it
with
is.
that being said, what's the wildest thing you and Owen have been through so far?
A practice lap right before we broke down in St. Pete. Really, everything else has been fairly calm for us. Cocoa Beach coming up. Watching those videos from years past. Seems like the last couple of years they were laid down. Um, that'll be if it comes back to old Cocoa and we're bouncing around. Hey, we're gonna do some on the job learning together. I was baptized in the sport in Sheboygan, Wisconsin last year. And if you don't remember, the class 7 boats ran and then they canceled they canceled all races behind us.
Well, I do remember that because my driver got sick in Wisconsin, so we never made the start of the race, right?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of thankful looking back because that would have been wear and tear on the boat, right? And then
Yep.
the water was huge. So,
Me and Darby lost a cowling during that. We damn near broke the boat in half, but it's funny. We couldn't find the course at one point, but we had 6 to 7 footers and we had 2 foot buoys, so we could see them for a couple seconds
right.
at a time.
And then
And
they disappear. And
yeah,
that's what a lot of people don't understand, guys. I mean, there's never the same lap twice, right? The
no,
water's forever changing. And I'll be honest, Class 7 brought the show last year. Um,
that should not be called a beginner's class. If you really
well,
if you really think of I understand why it is, but you get in there, man, that's some balls, man. When you're looking in Key West in turn one and I've got a prop right here and I've got another man's prop right here, that's a
right.
whole nother level.
But listen, it's an affordable class. A lot
Absolutely.
of guys can get in on that, want to get the experience. And then once they do, some of these guys, I mean, look at Dirt Legal or Red Rum or Piston Broke I mean, there's a number of guys that they're all contenders, right? I mean,
No,
all you guys show up with weapons. I
no,
mean,
and all those guys and everyone you just named, they're all great drivers and they're all great, and look, eventually they'll get called up. We're kind of blessed financially to be able to make the jump up. But back home, a lot of people, because boat racing wasn't big here in Louisiana, and we're still trying to help build it, but they didn't understand the bracket class. They didn't understand how we could only go 60 and we could do things. And I have to stop, and everybody's like, "That's stupid." And I have to tell, no, bracket racing did exactly what it was supposed to do for us. We
right,
got in at $55,000, bought a boat, bought an engine from the Buick family, went out there, competed, was extremely competitive, and said, "Man, this is something I want to do. I want to stick with this. We want to jump to the next level." So we're a product of bracket classes. I believe in, we didn't climb all the way through the ranks. We kind of, we went from, you know, we jumped up, but I think that it definitely serves a purpose, and I enjoy the hell out of watching, especially now that all those guys are friends of mine.
right. And it served a purpose and it helped you jump up, but the Clouatre Cartel ain't done. You guys, listen, I can see you hanging out where you're at for a little bit, but and I can see you doing double duty too, because listen, the people who have decided to team up with you guys, you're putting them someplace. You're putting them on a podium. That's what you're supposed to do, right? So
Now,
with that being said, what
sponsors
does
sponsors are happy as hell. I mean, the state of Louisiana is great. Look, you hit the nail on the head earlier. We've surrounded ourselves with great people, and that ultimately, from all of our sponsors to Statement Marine that takes care of the boat. I mean, everybody, we've got a great team around us.
Well, that's what it takes. It takes great people. My brothers and I surrounded us with great people in a nitro world, and Rob Wendland and a bunch of guys. And, we set a world record, and those are things you to be proud of. I've been around, I'm wearing my Louisiana colors today. The Herbots, great people. I surrounded myself with them, and they're still out there, right? Um, you know, this sport has introduced me to so many great people. I've met you and your crew, Darby, the boys. You look at what Demon Bikini's bringing. Did you see her new swag trailer?
I did, man. Do you know that and look, fun fact. Wednesday, I'm putting that trailer on a barge and we're pushing it down the Blind River Bar for the Tickfall 200. I'm gonna have to send you
See,
some pictures of that.
see what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking about.
And that's a
Right there.
connect we didn't have before boat racing. So that's somebody we met during boat racing. So
But people helping people, man.
yeah,
You didn't ask her for anything. She didn't ask you for anything. It's people helping people.
no,
And that's
she's
what this is about.
Leanne is great, man. Look, Leanne, I've got the ultimate respect for her. I sat across there and I was sitting there with my uncle drinking a beer, and she pulled up in that Freightliner one night and she went to unload it. Look, we felt guilty. We had to get over there and help her because look, she was working her tail off, and
Listen,
she
man,
doesn't stop, man. She's awesome.
her and Chad are a team. I mean, I got a chance to interview them early in my career doing this. And I don't want to sound funny, but you could see the love between the two and how they're giddy about each other.
Yeah.
And that's special, man, because let's be honest. I mean, I don't know if you're in the room alone, but could you race a boat of that caliber with your wife or your girlfriend?
We can't drive to the store together and agree
Yes.
how you
That's what
drive.
I'm saying, man. They're a special power couple,
No,
and there's not a lot of people that could do what they're doing.
no.
And
I tell Leanne this all the time. I'm a girl dad. I've got my first girl. Was 10 years old. My my first child is a girl, Coco, and Coco dressed up as Demon Bikini race team for Halloween this year at her little Catholic school, so that went over well. So, but no, I mean it's awesome to see Leanne and even Sabrina now with Bill Allen. That's
yes.
that's awesome to see the ladies stepping up and coming because look, they bring the heat, man.
Well, and then, hey, I don't want to toot our own horn, but my buddy Brian with the Twisted team, we got Tequila K coming to Cocoa Beach, part of the team, right?
Yes.
And I don't know what's going to come out of that. And then my wife's working on some things with a girlfriend of hers to drive another six boat with the Ultimate again this year.
Oh,
And
that'd
there's
be awesome.
rumblings of Tequila K being in one of them. So it's awesome. It's bringing awareness. It's what you're talking about. What we got to do to bring more people to it.
Yep,
You got to bring more characters in.
that's it.
So uh let's talk about something. If Owen was here, flat water or rough water?
Um, About a foot and a half chop. I was
Okay.
literally my ideal thing. That boat, I guess that was kind of our hardest. We sat there in St. Pete, which was rough as hell. And we
Yes.
sat there. We only did that one lap, and that was the roughest water we'd been in together because we just hadn't practiced and we hadn't had the conditions. You can't just go out on. I can't fly down to Florida and just sit there until it gets rough, to practice. So we've got
Right.
to play the hand we're dealt. And we sat there on our practice lap, and the boat felt great. I felt comfortable as hell in it. No, and so when we sat there, if you watch our GoPro video, it's just us sitting there pouting as we're watching the boats go by, and we're sitting in the center. It's just because everything felt great, and that boat loves rough water. I had the conversation with Britt Lilly. I had a 30-minute conversation with him while I was heading down to St. Pete, and I was like, "Man, just give me any. I'm trying to gather information. Just give me anything I need to know." And then he just said, "Man, let it eat. The boat wants it." So
Well, I'll tell you what, I got to speak with him the other day. We're working on some stuff together. That's a dude full of knowledge, right? Raised in this business. His dad's a legend, Art Lilly. Like, you kidding me?
yeah,
These are the people in the sport that need to be showcased. And then the team he's with Bill Plyburn, those guys are remarkable, man.
Yeah.
And you talk about getting taken out of a race, little fittings, things. I guess theirs was an engine management issue, maybe with some wiring, kind of like what you were talking about. We got taken out in Chicago last year because of a $34 water line that exploded,
Yep.
and we've had a 30-cent fitting go bad. So it's called racing and it happens, right?
It'll
Um,
it'll Sean Torrente said in one of his videos this week, "It's racing is the most humbling thing you'll do." So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm saying. You got the dirty money guys that are up on the top, and those guys got a boat and a team ready in like 2 weeks, branded it, did it all, dominated, and then they have issues the next week. That's racing. But I
yeah,
guarantee you they'll be at the next race prepared even better because they're not quitters, right? And that's
absolutely.
when you talk about like WHM. These you're going to be in these categories here as your career continues.
Look
I don't
forward.
see you getting out of the game anytime soon, do I?
No, no, no. We're having too much fun for that. So,
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've built successful businesses, insurance. You've got a bar you can only get to by boat. So that must be successful because people are coming. I mean, tell me about these things you're doing to keep this team at the forefront.
like I said, we partnered with some great sponsors, man. It's funny enough, I was sitting in Bill Pyburn's trailer in Key West, and Pyburn was talking to me. Pyburn has some Louisiana connections. His son playing for LSU. Fallon's family has a place out on the Tickfaw River. Fallon's from here, and so got to talk. And then Bill's like, "Man, why don't you do a Spirit of Louisiana boat? Why don't you reach out to some people?" So I kind of let the idea die down, and then was having dinner with a buddy of mine who's the seafood ambassador, Shallon DeLone, for the state of Louisiana, and I mentioned it to him. He said, "Man, let's have a talk with Billy Nungesser, who's the lieutenant governor." So we did, and went great. Come to find out, Billy had raced the boat when he was younger. I think a little super boat. And next thing you know, the state of Louisiana came on. And we were really look. I'm a hell of a salesman, but finding sponsors was one of the harder things I've ever done.
Very cool.
You know, I, I hate to say it, I felt like one of those travel ball parents. I was trying to get you to pay for me to go play and go have fun on the weekends, and but we went from 3 weeks of having really nobody, which we were gonna race anyway if we had to self-sponsor. We did it last year, and, once we got to state of Louisiana, man, we had Bingo Crane come on board, we had SKR Construction, we had Relief Windows, C Webb's Cajun Boudin, Hughes Insurance, Triton, leasing. I mean, we really had everybody came on. The state of Louisiana helped legitimize us, and every one of those had a representative at the race in New Orleans and is itching. I mean, it is they are. Hey, what can we do? What
Well,
can we do to help you guys? So I think we're at the tip of the iceberg, and IHRA is killing it with I guess the production you would say of it, which is really helping us as well.
absolutely. I'm going to give them two thumbs up when it comes to what they're doing with their live stream. That's and I'm sure you've been real busy because you've been hard to get a hold of. So, coming out and doing what you've done and representing the way you have, you're onto something, my friend. And I think a lot of states could take a lesson from what you're doing and take a vision of it and maybe kick into some of their local teams that are involved because the IHRA is onto some things and they're building a base that fans can really enjoy and come out and participate. You got Rob Goodwin offering that ultimate boat racing experience. It's amazing, right?
Yeah. No, no, they've done an absolute. I mean, they've done a great job. And look, not look. I think all of the organizations have done a great job. And at the end of the day, we just want to go race.
Right.
Whether it's the ABC organization or this, EFG organization. It doesn't matter what you want to call it. We At the end of the day, we want to have a set of rules and go race by.
Right.
So this fall, we'll hit every racing circuit this year, but right now, we're heading on to Cocoa Beach, which is IHRA's next
Well,
ones.
I'm gonna see you there, and we're gonna corner Owen, and I've got my studio that's on the road now, and I got a big bumblebee in here, and we'll definitely get caught up. And speaking of that, I'm a man of my own faith, and I just like to always mention Reverend Jim Black. And I know that since you've been involved in this, and I've got to see you intermingle with him a little bit. Can you tell me what Jim Black means to you at this organization?
Bro, I think, as a cradle Catholic that attends mass every Sunday, my mom could be a nun, and so my mom's mass 7 days a week, and so I always send her a picture when I'm or a video when Mr. Jim's talking. And I hope he never thinks it's rude that I'm playing thinks I'm playing on my phone. I'm actually sending it to my mother because that's her thing always every Sunday. Did you go to church or did you do this? So I said, look, man, I sat in here. No, Jim has a great way to he's the only guy that I've ever seen can get in that tent and make us 100 guys shut up and listen. So
You know what? That's a great
does
point. That's
does a
true.
he does a great job. Matter of fact, my dad was in the hot pits this week in New Orleans with us, which is the first time. I grew up with a love of boating from my dad. We've had everything from airboats and 90-foot boats and down to the Bahamas and doing all that. So me and my dad's connection is boating. And Jim came by. We all bowed our heads, said a little prayer before we got in that canopy. So my mom actually didn't watch the first 2 laps of our race. She watched them at my bus, which is parked right there,
Oh
right there
wow.
screen. Then my dad texted her, and she came out for the last 8 laps and watched them in person. So, she said
Oh
she's glad she did. So, no, but
well,
Jim's awesome to have there. So,
yeah, he's special, man. I'm gonna get him on camera at one point, but he
his
just you
story
know
his
how
story
he is.
his stories are great. As a guy that's been known to nod off once or twice in church, Jim can keep me, he can keep me listening. So,
That's true. Hey, so if I had to describe your driving style in one word, or you had to describe it, what would it be?
um, probably aggressive. Um,
Good choice.
you know, uh, I can drive aggressive. You know, Owen, uh, Owen as throttleman. I also refer to Owen as the head coach in that when we get in the boat. Owen will call a lot of shots. He's got his head on a swivel. Seeing what's going on, and we're hearing communication from land. Um, so kind of let him call the shots, but definitely we can be a little aggressive at times. But hey, that's
Good.
who we are.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let me ask you this, and I'll get you back to your Sunday operation. But what do you want to accomplish for the rest of the season? What can fans expect from the Clouatre Cartel moving forward this season?
Man, I tell you, you know, uh, look, man, we didn't come here for a haircut. We're looking for a world title and that's a championship. And if you'd have probably asked me, about a month ago how I was feeling about that, it was totally different. Like I said, New Orleans was the ideal race for us. We needed that. Uh,
It gave you the confidence you were looking
but
for.
it was confidence. It was seat time. It was, hey, look, man, this went out from, let's go this year. Let's go out this year and let's see what we can do to, hey, let's go out this year and do it.
Right.
So it totally changed our mindset, and we've learned a lot. And like I said, on the Coco, it's big water. It's big water. We're gonna like dancing with a fat lady. We'll let her lead, man, and we'll figure it
Right
out
on.
together.
Man, that's what I like about you, Dustin, since I've met you from day one, just to be honest. It's just you're so raw, man, and honest, and just the persona you put out. You're like an open book. Hey, this is me, and this is what you get, and I love it, man. I think what you're bringing with this team you put together, it's got championship written all over it, man. All right, so you're going to Cocoa Beach, and I hadn't talked to all the Mod V teams, and I know you're going to be tough to beat. That's a given. But you got Safe Cash Racing to deal with. They haven't been there. I know you just mentioned Speed Marine. They haven't been there. Framed. I don't know where those guys are at. They're tough to beat anywhere they show up. Um, you know, you got some tough competition coming for you.
We do, man. We were able to get a couple races ahead of those guys. Of course, talked to Kyle up there. They're all froze in. still. So that's why I was joking with him. He was talking about IHRA starting a little too early. Hey, I never told you to live up north. That was a decision you made.
Right.
So you know, no. So those guys are all hard to beat. They're stiff competition. So we're excited for them to join us. I don't know if they'll join us in Cocoa or after. Um, I know. I know we'll start seeing them once we get to Atlantic City and up there. So we got
Okay.
fun times ahead
Well,
of us.
and you got Mary Ann over there. You're not going to see her anymore in Class 7, but man, what a future that girl's going to have.
Yeah, man. No more looking at that sticker saying you've been passed by a girl every time she passes me up. So
Yeah,
no,
well,
hey man, that girl's got a bright future. She's awesome. She's a great person, great racer. So really enjoyed getting to know her and Scott. So really got to hang out with them a lot in Key West last year.
well, it's exciting to hear that, and I'm glad to hear you say that because I'm looking forward to her dreams. And if she follows her dreams and you stick around in Mod V, couple, 2, 3, 4 years, get you some championships, you may have to deal with her again one day.
Nah, I've got a feeling I will. So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're not done seeing that young lady, I guarantee you. So,
no, we're not.
and she's another one. That's what IHRA is bringing. They're bringing people like Marianne and her stepdad Scott with the Safe Cash Racing X Insurance back boat. They're bringing a young crew. You got a kid, 17 years old. He's a junior in high school. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. This is folks. This is what it's about. This is the platform. This is to get to know who these guys are. Look at you, Dustin Clouatre and the Clouatre Cartel, bringing Louisiana to the track,
So
killing it.
we've got a lot of exciting times ahead of us. Keep in mind, that's what I tell everybody. We're only 2 races in. We've got a full schedule ahead of us. So
Well, and I said it earlier, but don't count you out. I think you're on your way to, you want something and you're going to try to go get it.
we got good things ahead of us. Just stay on this train because it's gonna be a fun ride.
Absolutely, 100%. Man, thanks for your time today. I apologize about the technical difficulties. Sometimes our connections aren't the best, but listen, folks, if you like the episode, you like what you're hearing from these guys, share it. Share it with a friend. Let people know. And then remember, hug the ones you love because it matters. Every day is a gift. It's not a promise. Dustin, thanks for your time, man. I love your guys, your team. Just all of it. You got your kids, man. Your son's all about it. Your daughter, living the dream, man. Keep coming. Keep bringing it. Louisiana proud right here.
Thank you, brother. Love you. Have a good one. Enjoy your show.
Love you too, bro.
Bye bye.
The best teams in racing build speed. The rare teams build something bigger. Coualtre Cartel has built both. Dustin Clouatre built successful businesses. He built Blind River Bar into Louisiana destination, and somehow found time to build one of offshore racing's fastest rising teams. And what makes his team different is they never forget people. They never forget where they came from, and they never let anyone leave hungry. And then there's Owen Buis, a teenager carrying the legacy of Nick Buis, representing Statement Marine, and somehow accomplishing things racers twice his age are still chasing. And together, they've turned a former X-Insurance race boat into one of the most talked about Mod Vs to date. And Mod V may just be the hottest class in offshore racing right now, which means the competition is only getting tougher. But after their hometown win in New Orleans, something tells us Coualtre Cartel is just getting started. And next time we head to Louisiana, we're riding the airboats. We're heading to Blind River Bar, and we're eating crawfish. And we're probably leaving with new friends we didn't expect to make. That's Louisiana. That's Coualtre Cartel. And that's what makes this sport special. Thanks for watching As the Prop Turns. Until next time, keep the props turning.